is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my Blu-ray DVD collection for 2020, Adventure Part 1. So let's get into it. So first, I don't know why this is backwards, we have 47 Ronin starring Keanu Reeves. Interesting film from 2013, I believe. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Alright, up next from 2010, 127 Hours, really good film directed by Danny Boyle, starring a really good performance by James Franco. Up next we have Zack Snyder's 300, 2-disc special edition, fantastic film of course, starring Gerard Butler, about the Battle of Thermopylae and the heroic standoff between 300 Spartans and the Persian army. Fantastic film. Also got the sequel, 300 Rise of an Empire, Lena Headey and Ava Green. Not as good as the first one, but still interesting. Up next, similar story of course, the 300 Spartans. This one from 1960, I believe, or 62, something like that. Okay, up next we have 10,000 BC. Directed by Roland Emmerich. Not a great film, but I enjoy a lot of the visuals in this film. Alright, up next we have The Adventures of Robin Hood, one of the at least 7 or 8 versions of Robin Hood that I have. Of course, Errol Flynn classic, Olivia de Havilland, Basil Rathbone and Claude Rains from 1938. Probably my favorite Errol Flynn film. Next we have Alpha. Yeah, really interesting film from 2018 that I enjoyed a lot. Stunning visuals, really good story. Yeah, amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Next we have The African Queen from 1951, classic with Bogey and Katharine Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart. Next we have Alexander, Oliver Stone's Alexander from 2004, director's cut. Yeah, Colin Farrell, Angelina Jolie, Val Kilmer, Jared Leto, Rosario Dawson, Anthony Hopkins. I enjoyed it. I know it didn't do great, but yeah, I love that story, and great character of course. Alexander the Great, this one from 1956 I believe, with Richard Burton. Okay, up next we have Apocalypto, Mel Gibson's fantastic film from 2006 about the sort of demise of the Mayan culture. Yeah, visually stunning, just a great movie. Next we have Around the World in 80 Days from 1956. Sorry about the cough. Yeah, starring David Niven, fantastic film, great story of course, absolute classic about Phileas Fogg. Next we have Australia, directed by Baz Luhrmann. Yeah, really interesting film from 2008 with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. I enjoyed it a lot. Again, another film that really didn't do that well at the time, but really great visuals. Sprawling epic story. Next we have Beau Geste from 1939 I believe, with Gary Cooper, Ray Milland and Robert Preston. Next we have Black Death on Blu-ray from 2010 I believe, with Sean Bean, Eddie Redmayne and Chris Van Houten, of course, who played Melisandre on Game of Thrones. Yeah, really gory in parts, interesting take on the Black Plague. I enjoyed this film quite a bit when it came out. Next we have my Ben-Hur, what is this, 4-disc collector's edition. William Wyler classic from 1959 of course, starring Charlton Heston. This version also contains the 1923, I believe, silent version of Ben-Hur. Did not like the recent remake that came out a couple years ago. Up next we have The Black Swan from 1942, starring Tyrone Power and Maureen O'Hara. Good pirate movie. Next we have Blood Diamond from 2006. Fantastic film directed by Edward Zwick, starring Leo DiCaprio, Jennifer Connelly, and Jimon Hunsu. And up next we have Mel Gibson's Braveheart from 1995. One of my favorite films in this genre. Absolutely love this film. Everything about it, the music, just the story in general, the battle scenes, everything about it is just fantastic. Alright guys, up next we have Brotherhood of the Wolf, Director's Cut, or Le Pacte des Loups. Fantastic film from 2002, great visuals, sort of history slash martial arts, romance, wonderful film. Monica Bellucci, stunning as always. Up next we have Captain Blood, another Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland film from 1935. Up next, Captain's Courageous from 1937, starring Spencer Tracy. Interesting, as great as Mutiny on the Bounty. This is their tagline right there. Alright, up next we have Castaway, of course, from 2000. Fantastic film directed by Robert Zemeckis. Tom Hanks, fantastic performance. Special edition to this set. Okay, up next on Blu-ray we have Centurion from 2010. History is written in blood. Yeah, with Michael Fassbender, Olga Kurylenko, and Dominic West. Okay, up next we have The Charge of the Light Brigade from 1936. Another Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland film. It's a little tight in there, so I'll leave that out for now. Let's go here. Alright, up next we have Congo from 1995. Not a great film, starring Dylan Walsh, Ernie Hudson, Laura Linney, and Joe Don Baker. Up next we have The Count of Monte Cristo from 2002. Yeah, pretty underrated film. Really good performances by Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce, Richard Harris as well. Up next we have The Crimson Pirate from 1952, starring Burt Lancaster. Really fun, acrobatic, colorful pirate film. Up next we have Curse of the Golden Flower from 2006, I believe, with Chow Yun-fat and Gong Li. Yeah, visually stunning. The costuming, the music, really interesting film. Up next we have the pirate classic of the 90s from 1995, Cutthroat Islands, starring Gina Davis and Matthew Modine. Up next, The Duellists from 1977, terrific early film from Ridley Scott, starring Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel, special collector's edition. Up next we have Exodus, Gods and Kings from 2014. Ridley Scott film starring Christian Bale. I enjoyed this a lot. Of course, the classic Moses Exodus story. Up next we have First Night from 1995, starring Sean Connery, Richard Gere, and Julia Ormond. Love the King Arthur legend in general. Next to Robin Hood, it's probably my favorite old British folklore tale, if you like, and this version is definitely one of my favorites. Up next we have The Flame and the Arrow from when this come out, I think 1952 as well, with Burt Lancaster and Virginia Mayo. Really fun film, sort of a Robin Hood Italian version. Up next we have the original The Flight of the Phoenix from 1965 with Jimmy Stewart and Richard Attenborough. Of course, I remade it in 2005. That film was okay, but I didn't like it enough to get it. Next we have The Four Feathers, if I can say that properly, from 2002. Yeah, underrated film, starring Heath Ledger and Kate Hudson, Wes Bentley. Good film about cowardice and loyalty. Yeah, interesting movie, that one. Next we have Gladiator, of course one of my all-time favorites from 2000, Oscar-winning film. Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, terrific. Richard Harris. Yeah, I love Gladiator. Alright, up next we have The Great Wall on Blu-ray from 2017 with Matt Damon. Fun film. I thought the visuals and the battle scenes were terrific. The costuming, the accents were a little iffy, and the story and sort of believability of it all, but still kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Next we have The Gray from, when did this come out? 2011, I want to say. Yeah, really good film starring Liam Neeson, of course. About a guy who survives a plane crash and has to get back to civilization in the wild Alaska. Okay, up next we have Gunga Din from 1939, classic with Cary Grant, Victor McLaglen, and Douglas Fairbanks. Yeah, terrific film, that one. Up next we have Hidalgo from 2003, I think, 2004, something like that. Yeah, really fun film with Viggo Mortensen. I believe Omar Sharif is in this. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, terrific film about a long distance horse race. Alright guys, moving on down here we have In the Heart of the Sea, starring Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, really interesting film. I liked it a lot from, I want to say 2016 or so, something like that. Next we have Incident at Blood Pass from 1973, I believe, starring Toshiro Mifune. Fantastic film, great visuals, love a good samurai movie. Up next we have my Indiana Jones collection, of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981, Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, just absolute classic, one of my all-time favorite films. Then we have Temple of Doom from 1984, of course. Love the sort of ending of that film, the whole chase, the mine chase sequence, and the standoff on the rope bridge. That's some of the best parts of any Indiana Jones film, if you ask me. Next we have And the Last Crusade, of course, from 1989. Fantastic film. River Phoenix as the young Indy at the beginning. Sean Connery as his father, just perfect. That it's very close between Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark as my favorites. But yeah, Last Crusade is just fantastic. And finally, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull from 2008 with Shia LaBeouf. I like parts of this film, I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people hate it, but I enjoy most of that film, to be honest. Alright, up next we have Into the Blue from 2005, starring Paul Walker and Jessica Alba, Steve Zahn. Yeah, good film. Next we have Into the Wild from 2007, fantastic movie starring Emile Hirsch, fantastic soundtrack by Eddie Vedder, directed by Sean Penn, just a beautiful, heartbreaking film. Absolutely love that movie. Next we have Ironclad from 2011 with James Purefoy, Brian Cox, Derek Jacobi, Kate Mara, and really fun performance by Paul Giamatti. Next we have Ivanhoe from 1953, I believe, with Robert Taylor, Elizabeth Taylor, Joan Fontaine, George Sanders. Yeah, terrific film, that one. Next we have Khartoum from 1966 with Charlton Heston, Laurence Olivier, yeah, Ralph Richardson, another terrific film from the 60s. Next we have excuse me, King Arthur, director's cut from 2004, Antoine Fuqua film, of course, starring Clive Owen and Keira Knightley. Like that film a lot. Next we have King Arthur, Legend of the Sword from 2017. Yeah, interesting take on the King Arthur legend. Did not love it with Charlie Hunnam and Jude Law. Jude Law's okay as the bad guy in that one. Where did this go back in? There we go. Alright, up next we have King Solomon's Mines from 1950 with Deborah Kerr and Stuart Granger. And the remake, King Solomon's Mines from 1985 with Richard Chamberlain and Sharon Stone. Loved this film growing up as a kid. And I also like the sequel, Alan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold from 1987. Really fun and cheesy, those movies. Up next we have Kingdom of Heaven from 2005. For this director's cut, fantastic film by Ridley Scott. Brilliant performance by Orlando Bloom. David Toulis, really good. Jeremy Irons. Just a fantastic movie. And last but not least, I'll end on the K's. We have A Knight's Tale from 2001. Yeah, really fun movie with Heath Ledger and Shannon Sossamon about jousting. Paul Bettany, really fun in this movie. Interesting modern soundtrack. Yeah, it's always sad when I see Heath Ledger on one of my DVDs. Just realizing he's been gone now for like 12 years. That's amazing to me. Alright, so that is Action Part 1. Thank you for watching as always. And until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.